Hey everybody, my name's Cy Kavanagh and today I'm going to be making a video talking about grief. So just before I even get into talking about anything, I just want to make it very clear that this video is me more so reflecting than giving advice on anything. I'm not somebody that is qualified to give advice on grief, you know. I've just been on the receiving end of it. I lost my mum 3 years ago today, and I feel that in those 3 years I've made a lot of correct decisions and a lot of wrong decisions, and I kind of just want to go back through what I've gone through, and in hopes that if you can see yourself going down a similar path that I went down, you can either see if you're doing it right or you're doing it wrong, because I think you may as well learn from what I done wrong rather than you learn yourself, you know, save yourself a bit of time in the recovery process and all that kind of good stuff. So I suppose I'm better off start talking about what actually happened. So on the 2nd of January 2016, my mum went into hospital. We thought she had kidney stones. She was in a lot of pain, but she had kidney stones before and they were kind of similar. Maybe not on the magnitude of what they were at this current moment in time, but she had struggled with them in the past, so we were just like, you know, these things happen, she'll be alright. So I ended up going out that night to one of my friends' 18th, and then after I was staying in one of the lads' houses, and I got he came in at like 3 o'clock in the morning to tell me that my dad was on the phone and my mum had gone into hospital, and I was like, I was a bit upset, whatever. I got a lift home that evening, but it wasn't something that hadn't happened before. My mum used to be in and out of the hospital the odd day just for other things, like, you know, nothing as major as this obviously, but she had been taken away by an ambulance once or twice before, so I wasn't too upset or afraid. But that soon changed after I got to see her the first time. So I think I went in to see her. She went in the second. I think I went in to see her on the 5th because I was kind of getting worried that she hadn't got out yet, because I hate going to hospitals anyway, you know. I'm a lot of people, you just don't really want to be in that environment, you know, unless you have to be. But so I went in to see her on the 5th, and it was at this point where she was put into a medically induced coma, which means that you're being put asleep because the pain is too much for your body to take, so you're better off not having to deal with it. And when I walked in, she was hooked up to nearly every possible machine like you can think of. Like she was hooked up to a dialysis machine, ventilation for her breathing, morphine, medicine, like every possible tube that could go into a human body. My mum had it in hers, and I was just like, this isn't good, you know. Like that was kind of moment really saying that she might not actually come back home. So within the next kind of couple of weeks, I didn't visit her that often. As I said, I don't like I don't like hospitals. I don't like going to that environment. I never have. And so I only seen her about 2 or 3 more times. And when I was there, I was just talking to her, but she was asleep. You know, there wasn't any communication. I didn't get the chance to say that I love you or whatever. Like obviously I said before she had gone, but I never really got the chance to kind of like have a final talk with her because she was gone before then. You know, she was never woken up from that induced coma, sadly. So I think it was on the 31st. The 30th is when we got the call, on the 31st when she passed away, but on the 30th, me and a few of the lads were going out. I was told that she might be coming home for Easter, so I was kind of excited, you know. I was telling the lads when they came over, yeah, she's actually getting a lot better, we're probably going to have her home for Easter. I was looking good, and they were like, oh, it's great to hear, it's great to hear. And so I was out in the nightclub, whatever, and I get a phone call off my dad, and he's upset, like he's not well. I'm like, what's up, and he was saying that basically all the lights had gone red, and like, you know, all the emergency lights had gone off in the room for my mom, like her organs were failing, and I needed to come down to the hospital and be there with him. So managed to get a lift down to the hospital. I went back and got my little brother, brought him down, and the doctor came in and she was saying that basically my mum had now had total organ failure because she had actually been diagnosed with acute pancreatitis as well. As something I forgot to mention, it wasn't actually kidney stones. And the thing with the pancreas is that once it becomes toxic, and it can start to excrete those toxins into the body, and those toxins obviously they're very dangerous. They attacked her liver, her heart, and basically she was gone. She was no coming back for her. So we went home that evening, the 31st, the morning of that, about 4 or 5 in the morning, and we got as little sleep as possible. Like, you know, try to get as much sleep as possible, but it wasn't very much. Went back down the next day, and it was just all of us in the room for a couple of hours before they decided to turn off the ventilation, which was obviously horrible to see, you know. I mean, like, especially if you don't get a chance to talk to her, because this woman did a lot for me, you know. She adopted me at a tender age of 2 months old. She gave me a life, she gave me a house, so did my dad, you know, and it was just very hard that I didn't get the chance to say that I was really, really, really thankful for her. Like, she always knew, you know, she always will know that I'm so grateful that she was able to give me this life and this opportunity, and I'm lucky enough to have a mum and a family, but I just kind of hurt a lot knowing that I didn't get to say that to her. And, you know, that's just one of the things you kind of have to deal with when it comes to death, because a lot of the time it can be very sudden. It doesn't have to be someone who's had cancer for the past 2 years. It can be as simple as my mum just one day not feeling well and going to the hospital one day and just never coming out the next, like, you know. So that's what happened then. February the 3rd, I think, was when the funeral was, and obviously that was a very tough day, but one of the biggest reasons I got through it is because of the amount of people that showed up for me and all the support I got. Like, it just kind of showed that I was really blessed to have such a strong core group of friends, and outside that core group of friends there's a lot of people out there who also genuinely care for me, you know. And it was just really obviously at the time I wasn't that happy about it, because obviously I was so numb and so sad, so angry, so many emotions that you can't even deal with, so you're almost just not, you're non-existent, you're like in a limbo. But looking back and reflecting on it, like, I'm so grateful for the people I had there for me that day and throughout the whole process. People I still have now 3 years on. You know, it's like 6 of the lads helped me carry my mum's coffin, like, and sorry, including myself, there were 6 people. And, you know, that's a very big ask for a lot of people to do, you know what I mean? And they all did it with no hesitation. And it was just one of those things that, looking back again, how grateful I am to have those people who were there. And the lads were probably watching this video, they know how much I really appreciate them doing that. So then come the post kind of grief feeling. So now your numbness is kind of set in, and you're starting to actually kind of deal with what's actually happened now. And it's very hard to do that because you've been spiraling for so long that you actually get the time, and you've been so busy with the funeral arrangements, talking to people, you know, I mean, you didn't actually get a chance to be on your own and actually understand what's going on and process it. And that's something that I didn't actually get to process for a long time, and it kind of comes in different stages for people. Some people can get it straight away, some people can delay it for later on, you know what I mean? It's just, grief is different for everybody, and it's very important that you deal with it in the proper manner. And I myself, I'll hold my hand up and say, look, I didn't do it well at the start anyway, because I was just, I just kept kind of pushing off, you know. I mean, like, people do say distract yourself, but at the same time there's only so much distracting you can do, and you still need to understand what's going on and process these feelings that are coming through. Because I kind of decided to take up the very innocent role as like, oh look, I'm a young male, you know what I mean, I'm not allowed to be sad and all that kind of stuff. A lot of stigmas that are like slowly getting better and broken, but I gave myself I basically said to myself that I need to be the person who stands up for my family now, you know what I mean? I have to take on a bigger role. My mom's gone, so my dad's gonna need extra help. I gotta be almost like another like figure in the household now. And which is true, but the thing is, and this is a very important thing for a lot of people, if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody. And that's something that I wish I knew before I tried to take on the roles I was trying to take on, because I wasn't right. Yeah, obviously nobody's going to be right after losing their mom, especially of how big a deal it was for me, you know what I mean? Because basically the second mother I have lost, like, you know, it's horrible, it's not easy, but I can't afford to try and help anybody while I myself am not feeling right. And I was doing this, and I thought I was doing myself I thought I was helping people doing this, you know what I mean? I thought I was like, oh, this is great, at least everyone else, I can help other people, and I can deal with my problems later on. It doesn't work like that. You need to sort yourself out first, because any of the stuff that you haven't dealt with can come out in other ways. You can start coming out in bad anger rages. What I ended up started doing was I was sleeping a lot. It was just one of those things that it was easier to go to sleep than it was to actually deal with all the emotions and stuff that was going on. So I found myself sleeping for 3 hours a day during the day, and then also getting my 9 hours during the night. Like, so I don't know, personally myself, I wouldn't recommend doing that. There's definitely a lot of things you can do in 3 hours that are better than sleeping, because you're wasting a lot of your time. But the biggest problem for me personally was that I didn't give myself any objectives or goals. And that's what you need, personally, in my most humble opinion. You need objectives and goals. You need to have something you want to do in the gym. Maybe you want to go back playing rugby, playing Gaelic. Maybe you want to start up a new hobby, learn the guitar. You need to get something that, like, every time you make that little bit of progress, it sparks off those good endorphins in your head and stuff like that, because they are what you need the most right now. You need good, happy thoughts. You need to give yourself some self-worth again. Because the thing about grief is, I found, I don't know for anybody else, by all means, if you found it different, tell me in the comments or whatever, but I felt I lost a lot of my self-worth when I lost my mum. You know, I felt I lost a lot of confidence. I kind of dropped back, like I almost went 2 steps forward and 4 steps backwards, like that type of way, because it's so hard to regather yourself and recollect yourself, because the world hadn't stopped when my mom died, right? Maybe for that day or two and for the funeral, people had took it off and they were helping me, but the thing is, the world doesn't stop, and if you don't catch back up, you're going to get left behind. So, which is it's a very hard truth to take, because nobody wants to be pressured or feel pushed into trying to recover and quick. But you can't let this grief define what happens in the rest of your life. You need to be able to, because you know dead right that the person that you've lost, they would not want to see you struggling this bad. Obviously, yeah, they'd probably be a bit happy that you're gone. You know, I mean, they'd be happy about the fact that you care so much, but they want the best for you. And I know dead right that my mum wanted the best for me, and me sitting at home sleeping 3 hours a day being sad the whole time wasn't something that she would have wanted from me. So I said to myself, look, I'm going to try and sort a few things out and get some things in place. So what I did was, and I ended up getting a job up in Dublin. It was a door-to-door salesman job. It was probably the toughest job in my life. I was out of the house for 8:30 every morning. I wasn't back till 12 in the evening. I was walking around the likes of Castleknock, Balbriggan, all these spots, and I was only getting paid commission. So basically, if I didn't sell, I didn't get my money. But it was probably the best possible thing for me, because obviously when you're doing door-to-door sales, you're knocking on doors, you're talking to people, you're getting back out in the world, you're starting to understand things again. You learn so much from doing a job like that, and obviously it's tough. It's very tough. Like, I was working on behalf of Barrettstown and also Temple Street Children's Hospital, and like, they're great charities, and I gave myself a bit of self-worth again, because I was like, look, I'm out here working, but I'm working on behalf of some very good causes. And that's, for me personally, helped me get over things very well. Another thing that helped, obviously, is that you need your friends and you need your family and you need your support. And this is what I really want to stress this. It's like, don't let yourself do it on your own. Okay, you don't get extra points for dealing with grief and thinking that, alright, if I do this on my own, I'm going to be a stronger, better person for it. No, that's not how it works. You need to let people help you, and you need to let yourself feel. You need to be vulnerable, you know. Like, you can't just harden yourself up and expect that all these feelings will go away, because they won't. You're not dealing with it. You're simply postponing until you're going to be breaking points where everything's too much and you lash out, you have an emotional spiral. It's just not worth it. Let yourself do the hard ground now, so then in the next couple of months coming, you can actually start to really enjoy yourself and really get back into things. And I'll say that, I'll put my hand up again and say that, look, I wasn't great with that as well. I tried to harden myself up. I was trying to take on a bigger role, do the whole kind of, oh, look, I'm young, I'm a young guy, you know what I mean, I'm strong, I'm independent, I don't need to deal with this, I'll be alright. Like, it's not like how it works. So I myself started going to counselling, and that's something I have no shame in saying, because everybody personally, I think, could use a counsellor once in a while. Obviously, it's up to yourself if you want to do it, but I would 100% recommend going to see a counsellor, because they'll do a lot more than watching this video anyway for you. And it's just nice to actually have somebody to talk to that doesn't know you personally, you know what I mean? It's almost like talking to a stranger, but this stranger themselves can define how you're feeling and point you in the right direction. So yeah, counsellors, good friend groups, just make sure that you have your solid friend group around you, and you get back into the swing of things, you know. Like, for me personally, my favourite thing was going and playing pool with the lads. You probably go down 2 or 3 times a week, and just, like, it wouldn't even be anything mad, like, you know, you'd just be there sitting down laughing, just stupid stuff, like, you know what I mean. But the thing was, it gave me a sense of involvement, and it gave me a sense of self-worth, because I had friends, you know. I was there with lads having a good time, enjoying myself, and that's what you need to kind of really keep reinforcing yourself. You need to understand that you yourself have a lot of worth, and that things will get better, you know. Like, look at the little moments that, because when you're in that kind of state, everything's so tough, and then you get like a little moment like that, just sitting down playing pool, whatever, and then someone says something funny or something stupid, and you all just bust out laughing. You need to latch on to that and understand that that is what's in your future, and that's what's in store for you, and you won't ever get it unless you yourself deal with the problems ahead of you. Because within the last 3 years of losing my mum, I've done so much. Like, I've gone to San Diego, I've gone to Amsterdam, I've made some great friends, I've made some great partnerships, I've made like so many memories. And the thing is, obviously, yeah, I would have loved my mum to see some of them. I would love her to see all of them, but like, it doesn't work like that. And the thing is, you know dead right that you would have been doing these things whether she was here or she wasn't here. So why limit yourself to not doing them because she's no longer here or the person is no longer here? You still have a life to live, okay? That's the thing, and you can't not live your life because someone else lost theirs. So please understand that, as cliche as it is, it does get better. I know I always used to hear stuff like that, and I was like, oh, people never just give over. Like, when does it get better? You know, what is the time period and when it gets better? How am I going to start to feel better? What's going to happen that makes me feel better? And the truth is that you just don't know. Like, it's a very vague answer, and it's one of those ones that can be very annoying when you're going through a very bad and tough time. But it will get better. Like, you know, I mean, picking out some of the best moments in the past 3 years. Like, I've had some of the best moments and experiences of my life since my mom passed away. You know, so please just keep that in mind. That at some point, I promise you, it will get better. But it won't get better unless you help yourself to get better. So that's kind of how I wanted to just wrap it up, that little speech there. If anybody does have any questions, please, by all means, I'm going to leave my socials in the link below there. I don't know why I just did that, that's really cringy. But yeah, if you do need any help with anything, please, by all means, give me a text and I'll try and help you in the best possible way I can. So just want to say thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Cheers.